Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Hey, we're into week number 4, I believe, and so we have another wonderful show with Coach Smith, and so we want you to stick around. We'll recap the Brentwood game, the showdown on Sunset, or the Sunset Showdown, whichever you prefer. We'll talk to Coach and just kind of get some reflections about that game, and we'll also preview the Harvard Westlake game as well. So stick around, and we'll come back to you live after the intro. And again, welcome to another episode of This Week in Pali Football.
Hey, win on me, win on 3, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win! Yeah! Stop playing with a P! 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 Stop playing with a P!
Some call it the gridiron.
Nice route, way to skim it.
Others, 100 yards of pay.
Too much.
We just like to call it football.
Football.
With Facebook James.
Football, baby.
Football, baby, indeed. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of This Week in Pali Football. I am your host, Facebook James, or Mr. Riley. So check it out. Let's just go ahead and hop into it, man. We had a wonderful Thursday and Friday full of football games. Unfortunately, neither one of our teams were able to get that W. But the boys played hard. And, we just look forward to them continuing to play hard. It's still early in the season, with 4 games under our belt, and we still have one more non-conference football game, and then we have a bye week, and then we'll move into our Western League schedule. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time for the next few weeks with football. And, really can't wait to see what the boys are continuing to do, what they're continuing to cook up on the field, as they say. And so, without further ado, after a heartbreaking loss, that overtime loss at the Stadium by the Sea at the world-famous Pali High, just a devastating loss. And I know, Coach, I talked to him earlier, and he was like, man, look, I'm not going to get over this for another year or so. But, it is what it is. The boys play very, very hard. And, we're going to just go ahead and bring Coach in and just kind of get his reflection on the football game this past week. So let's go ahead and bring in Coach Smith. Hey, Coach, what's going on?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for joining us again. Can you believe this is week number 4?
I think it's week 5 because we have the week 0, I believe.
Okay.
Game 4, week 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy, though.
I mean, we're halfway there. After Harvard Westlake, we're kind of halfway there, man. Before we even talk about the football game itself, man, I think last week before the boys even, snapped, and hit each other and caught passes, there was a wonderful tribute to your fallen friend, Coach Humphreys. Just kind of tell us about his legacy, what he kind of meant to you, and just a little bit more about your relationship that you had with Coach Humphreys.
Yeah, well, Coach Humphreys, he was him and Coach Ford, the head coach for Brentwood, were my high school coaches my 10th grade year, and then all the way up my 11th to 12th grade year. So they were young too. So they're like 8 or 9 years older than me. So they were fairly young. So, they were relatable when we were coaching. And when we didn't want, go to the head coach, we would go to those two, just to talk or, joke around, whatever. And then over the years, we just, became close. When I went away to college, he was one of the first people to call me when I was at Kansas. So we just kept that relationship up. And then when he got the head coaching job at Malibu, he called me to be his quarterback coach. And then the next year, he asked me to be the offensive coordinator. So, he always saw something in me that didn't necessarily see in myself. And, he gave me my first job to coach. Um, I was always the first call he made when he needed something as far as football or whatever it was. And he's put his job on the line for me so many times. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but he's he's really looked out for me. And then over the years, we just became close friends, and coaching with Coach Ford as well, and then being best friends, it just kind of naturally got in their circle of friends. And then the last 9 years, all three of us coached together, so we just formed a closer relationship. And not just me, though. He was a mentor and friend, uncle, godfather, so many people. And everybody who's ever met him says the same thing about him. He's funny. Everybody loved him right away. He would literally give you the shirt off his back, money out of his pocket. He was just a good person overall.
That's cool. That's cool that, you can build up that kind of relationship with someone and, at the same time be your mentor, someone who you could rely on and just really feel comfortable with. And so, definitely a tough loss for you and, even a harder hit for the Brentwood family. So just appreciate you again, just, sharing those kind words about Coach Humphreys and Coach Ford, and I'm sure they meant, they mean a great deal to you as being, you're still kind of young and kind of spry, able to do your thing. So I'm sure your legacy or their legacy will continue through you as you now begin to pour into the boys at Pali High and, kind of form those relationships with some of your coaches and some of their guys that are on your football team. Now, one thing I did notice in this particular contest, I know last year when we were at Brentwood, after the game, there was a lot of, hey, Coach Smith, a lot of hugs and high fives. I didn't see that too much with you and the Brentwood players, and rightfully so, because it was a wonderful game, first of all, and so again, congrats, for playing such a wonderful game. But let's go ahead and talk about that team, man. Their QB Ben Michael, he was 249. 3 touchdowns, man. I think we even touched on it last week because we'd faced the double wing T, just the run. We had 3 good teams coming out the run, hardly threw a pass. Do you think our boys were not ready for that particular game speed with just being able to run with those receivers that they had over there in Brentwood?
Not necessarily. I mean, we saw it all summer. I mean, we practiced against our offense all summer. Granted, we played, 3 teams that were in the wing T, so we didn't face it maybe for about a month. To be honest, we practiced for Diamond League against the spread up until literally the day before when we found out they were going to run the wing T because we didn't have film on them. So really, we only had about 2 weeks of wing T practice. But like I said, we've seen the spread all summer. We practiced against our own offense, so it shouldn't be an excuse why we should, why we kind of let them run loose everywhere. We've seen it all summer. It was just a lot of mistakes we made, missed tackles. There wasn't a lot of blown assignments, so it was just, strap up, play football, and we just didn't do that.
Yeah, even, one time I think, in the pregame we were talking about Jackson. Just, he almost had 2 back-to-back interceptions. They hit him in the hand. I think the first one, the second time he was right there. And I thought he was, I was like, oh man, he's getting close. He's going to get one. But, I think, you're right. The boys have been playing 7-on-7. They've, seen that kind of, that speed before, but it just wasn't, in this regular season as of yet, because we were really focused on, that wing T. And plus, you guys scrimmage, with the pass anyway. So,
right.
I'm sure, making some of the mental mistakes. And even, from the get-go, I think, the opening drive that we had the punt returner, kind of dropped it on the carpet. And, I don't know if it was a bad case of being nervous or just, not prepared. But, there were little things throughout the game that, a casual, viewer would be like, okay, are they ready for the challenge? So just some of the mental mistakes that they had, it really, I'm not gonna say it really cost them, but they kind of add up, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we lost about 3 points, and I'm sure there's different points in the game where we scored those 3 points, and I remember a touchdown that was called back because of a penalty. So, do you think you were playing against the refs and Brentwood, or was it, did our boys really? I don't want to say they weren't prepared, but were they just making some costly mistakes during the football game?
Well, I mean, I challenged the team all week. I said, we practice like we play like we practice, and to be honest, I don't think we really practice as hard as we normally have. The same mistakes we were making in the game we made all week in practice. So, to be honest, I'm not surprised by the mistakes we made because, me, myself, my coaches, we always preach, play like you're going to practice like you're going to play in the game. When they make those same mistakes in practice, we say, look, we can't just turn it on come Friday night. We got to be able to do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and be ready for Friday. We can't come out slow all week and then expect just to snap our fingers and magically be good. So, excuse me, a lot of it was just how we practiced throughout the week. A lot of it, I'm not going to blame the refs totally. There were some bad calls that went our way, but I told our players, don't put ourselves in a position to let the refs determine the game. And I've been saying that all summer. So if we don't make those mistakes and we make the plays we've been making all year, we wouldn't be talking about the refs. So.
Absolutely. Good point. And then I'm, over here looking at Max Preps, and, to your point, there were 11 penalties, 96 yards, and then Brentwood had 9 penalties for 69 yards. So, like you said, you kind of hurt yourself when you have those penalties. They kind of add up. A couple of, touchdowns were taken away. A couple of big plays were kind of, taken back because of some of the miscues that the football team had. But I mean, there were some bright lights during the football game. And so, Jack was, looks like he was, I think I have him 20 of 41, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, man. Again, kind of talk about some of the bright spot. I know he did get injured, and I think we said it was a cramp related, and a lot of the players during the game, came out and because of the cramps. But again, another shining spot for the Pali football team. Again, just talk about just his ability to get the ball out and really control the pace of the football game.
Yeah, I mean he's a smart kid, and a lot of times he gets a little trigger happy with the ball, sometimes, but. I feel comfortable for the most part with him, changing the plays and, throwing the ball where he needs to. And when he does make a mistake, he comes off. We talk about it. He understands what the mistake is. We fix it, and then we move on. So it's good to have a player who knows what the mistake is, knows how to fix it, doesn't get rattled by it. And then, he's playing injured the last 2 nights, so last 2 games, and he fights through it. He doesn't want to come off the field, and he tells me he's okay when clearly he's not. But Friday night was just a cramp. Just like a couple other kids were cramping, so we got to fix that. And our trainer Jared is going to try to fix that as well. So hopefully this week it's going to be cold again, and we won't be cramping up as much. But yeah, no, he's Jack is playing really well for us and making a lot of throws that our offense needs. So. He has the weapons to get it to him, and it's really good to see on the sidelines.
Absolutely. And then there were a couple of receivers who kind of had for me, they had a kind of like a breakout game. So Max Ajazi, he caught a couple of passes that were kind of, where, it was definitely a thread and needle kind of situation. King didn't have that great of a game, but Henry, according to, Max Preps and the sets you guys put out, he had a pretty decent game as well. So again, you talk about some of the weapons, and it really kind of depends. Some guys might be hot, on certain days or nights. Some might not be, but that's why you have a team. That's why you have different players who can, make some of those plays. And so Max definitely was one of the bright spots. And then, Harrison Carter again. He was one of the ones who got injured. I believe one of the during the broadcast, one of the viewers were like, "Oh man, it looks like a knee injury. Oh, he might be out." I'm like, I don't know. To me, it kind of looked like a cramp, right?
Yeah.
But talk about just again, his ability. Let me see. He had, according to what you guys have for Max Preps, 19 carries for 80 yards, and then he was even able to catch 2 passes, 18 yards, and a TD. So again, there were some standout, some highlight points during the football game. So again, let's give Harrison some accolades right there.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison can do it all. We give him the ball in the backfield. We put him out in the wide receiver, and he can run routes just as good as other wide receivers. And then he ran the kickoff back, which really gave us life in the middle of the game. If he doesn't run that back, I don't know, where we'd be in that game. So, and he plays angry too. He was a little frustrated in the game, and I told one of the coaches, I said, let him get back there, run the ball, and when he runs angry, you see what can happen. So, he's 3-dimensional. And I mean, I don't even know what to say to him. He's so electric. Just when other, receivers are not having a good game, you can always look to him. So it's a blessing to have that type of player.
No, I totally forgot about that. Just that return all the way back. I mean, they had, Brentwood had just scored a couple of moments ago, and then, the momentum did kind of shift a little bit. I thought anyway, just being on the sidelines once they got that, that touchdown. I think, that they just scored 21-7, I think. And so when he went back and scored that, returned that kickoff, man, that kind of put a little bit more umph, in the game in terms of the Pali players. And I think they understood the assignment once, he scored. And I think they, their mindset kind of flipped a little bit to where it's like, okay, we're not out. We still have to play, despite, some of the players not being able to get open or whatever. So definitely a bright spot for the Pali football team. And then, just, I was really, it was so close, when the final tick in the football game happened, I was just like, okay, Steve, is this, are there extra overtime for high school? He was like, I don't think so, James. I'm like, okay. And then to see everyone gather, I was like, because I was ready to call the broadcast. I was like, okay, guys, we're gonna end in a tie. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Because at that point, like at the end of the game, last 5 minutes, everyone wanted to watch it. I think we had almost between 40 and 50 viewers, which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm commentating. I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Don't go anywhere. And I think maybe about, the feed had dropped to maybe 38 or something. But then it kind of picked back up to right around, 40 or 50. So, were you aware of the rules for high school in terms of overtime play?
Yeah, I figured we were going to overtime, so there was no question for me. And then I just didn't know the exact rules, but I thought it was just 25 yards. You just go until you keep scoring, but it was 25 yards. You score, then you have to go for 2 the next time, and then after that, every play is a 2-point conversion. So that, they don't want you going into 9 or 10 overtime. So, the first one is just regular. The second one, you have to go for 2. And then after that, every play is from the 2-yard line. But I didn't know there was an overtime, or I assumed there would be.
Cool. No, that's what's up. So now everyone, and I think that was our first time in terms of, as long as I've been affiliated with a Pali, I've never seen a tie situation like that. So it was great to see. And, we missed it by that much, right? I mean, probably a little bit more. I mean, in overtime, they got the ball, they went ahead and scored, rah, rah, rah. We turned around, did the same thing. And because we had, they had already had a miscue on their PAT, we were like, good, okay, all we got to do is just get in the uprights. And then it was a block kick. Just talk about your thoughts at that moment when you saw the ball was, blocked. What went through your mind at that very second?
Well, when we scored, I was happy, but I was like, wait a minute, we still got to kick the extra point. So, I wasn't too happy. I took my headsets off and gave it to somebody just in case I was going to celebrate. I didn't want to break them, but I was still kind of like, okay, we still got to kick it. And then a coach, I won't name him, but his name rhymes with fur. He said, "We got this, coach. We got this." And I said, "Well, hey, we still got to kick the extra point." And then we ended up missing it, but the snap was kind of bad. The ball was on the side, and the kicker slipped. So everything that could have went wrong, and we still had a chance to win. So can't blame that. I think we scored again, or I don't remember. Maybe no, we scored the field goal the next drive. Yeah, so we set a chance to win and just didn't get it done.
Yeah, no, it was exciting that we did, we're able to get that field goal. It's like, okay, now we just got to play some defense. And I think I'm trying to remember the down that it might have been a third down or maybe a fourth down.
Third down.
It was a third down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm just like, I'm seeing the play develop. I'm like, okay, come on, let's get a stop. I'm like, let's get a stop. And then they put in that last effort. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, just kind of, the heart dropped. And I'm sure not only my heart, but,
Yeah.
the boys who are on the field, I'm sure your coaching staff were just like, God dog it. Initial thoughts, man, when they scored, making the final score 33-30. Just some of your reflections at that moment, at the loss, suffered by Pali.
Well, initially I didn't think he got in. It looked like he was short. And then, the referees didn't call it right away. So I was like, okay, we have another chance. And then they threw their hands up, and then the referee called the game. And so at that point I was just, I didn't have a response. I was so shocked. I was just, stunned. And I didn't really react to the game until their players were, doing all, the extra stuff they were doing. So that's when I went from shocked to mad, and then, I just felt bad for the kids. They fought hard, came down to the wire. We had 2 chances to win the game. And I told them, I was like, we let them in the game. We kept them in, but they still fought hard, and I'm proud of them for that. They didn't give up. And, talking to Coach Henry in the past, he says, a team like that would get down and they would just give up. And, they never gave up. They fought literally to the end of the game. And, I was more, upset that the kids lost the game. Forget my relationship with them over there. It's 2 years in a row that we didn't get it done against them. And, we had a chance both times. Last year we were up 14 points to win. And this year we had 2 chances at the end to finish the game off. And, maybe next year we'll finally finish it out.
No, and you bring up a good point, man. At the end of the game, you said, you thought they were short. There was a play somewhere, late in the second half where we were on the far sideline, I guess, closest to the beach, the west end zone, where, it looked like I think Harrison was running the ball. And, I thought it was a touchdown. I didn't hear a whistle. No one got him down. He ended up in the end zone. And, everyone was looking around like, okay, what's going on? Because there was no whistle in terms of whistling him down, in the field of play. So, just thinking about hearing you reflect on, the last play of the game just kind of brought me back to that point where Harrison had actually scored. or got in the end zone. How did you feel about that particular play? Did you feel that Harrison was in the end zone, or what? What was your initial thoughts about that play?
Well, they called it inadvertent whistle. So I guess they thought he was down at the line of scrimmage, and then he kept going and they blew the whistle, and they said, "Well, there's nothing we can do about it now because it was an inadvertent whistle. Do you want to replay the down?" It's like, well, obviously I want to replay the down. I don't want a third down or lose it down. So I think we ended up scoring on that drive anyway. But still, you don't want to put it in their hands, and you never know what could happen the next play. So I was upset, but at the end of the day, we ended up scoring. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that might have been a pass that that Max actually caught a few plays afterwards. So just you talking about that last play just kind of brought me back because for me, I was trying to clarify for the viewers. It's like, okay, and I didn't hear a whistle. Maybe one was blown, but maybe in my excitement, I didn't hear it. And so, even some of the other photographers and, the deans and, they were kind of behind us like, okay, what's,
everybody stopped on the field. So I think I heard a whistle. I don't know. It just, I didn't understand why the play was stopped and everybody on the field stopped. So I figured it was an inadvertent whistle. But I thought they were going to still give us the touchdown, or they were just late, giving a sign. And when they came over and said, "No, we blew the whistle by accident. And, do you want the down over?" I'm like, "Sure,
yeah, absolutely.
I'll take it, I guess."
Yeah. So then we suffered again a crazy defeat, 33-30. I did have an opportunity to talk to Jake, who was, he was real short. He was just like, "Look, I mean." Really, it was about 30 seconds. He was like, I was like, "Hey, Jake, you got some time?" "Oh, man, I got to go. I was like, "Well, just give me a little bit." So I appreciate him, because I know he was in his feelings. They lost a tough game. So I did have an opportunity to talk to Jake. And then Jack was gracious enough afterwards to kind of give me a little bit more of just some of his initial thoughts. So we'll run that real quick, and then we'll come back, Coach, and then we'll finish out the show. So here we go. We'll take a look, take a listen at Jake Tribatch, number 11, and then Jack Thomas, number 10. So here we go.
It's not going to be pretty interview.
It's all good. Hey, man, tough loss. Great game, but tough loss tonight, man. Just tell us your thoughts. I know your team is hurting. Just give us your thoughts about tonight's football game.
We beat ourselves. Don't think we're not coming back with 100% effort. That starts with Monday and starts with tomorrow. I could put that on myself. I should have done more. I'm not going to speak for other guys, but I think we could do more as a collective. Let's just get to work. That's all I'm going to say. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right. All right, we're here with Jack Thomas, man. Tough loss tonight. Wonderful game. You guys fought back. Had some miscues, but man, just kind of tell us some of your emotions. As a result of playing Brentwood tonight.
Yeah, all props to Brentwood. They came out and they outplayed us in the first half. You know what I'm saying? They gave more energy. They were just ready to play today, and we underestimated them, and they showed us why. The second half, we really picked it up and made it a dogfight, and just some mistakes here and there. But I think this loss will really dig deep and help us as we progress in the season, ultimately for playoffs.
Yeah. I know. I saw you a few moments ago talking to your team, just trying to encourage them, man. What kind of words of encouragement can you have? I know some of your players are kind of really taking it hard. I mean, you went into overtime, and it came down really to the last possession by Brentwood, man. What words of encouragement did you have to kind of encourage your team to keep fighting and kind of help them to kind of forget this game and move forward and get ready for next week?
Yeah, the loss hurts a lot, but reality is we're only 4 games into the season. So this loss can define us. It can either tank us down. We got another good opponent next week, Harvard Westlake. It can either bring us down or we can use it as motivation. So I'm just telling the guys, like, we got some guys. We got a senior who's not going to play this year because he tore his ACL. Same with the sophomore. So it's all relative. It's all perspective in terms of how bad some hurts. They can't play their whole senior season, but we lost 1 game. But we get to play next week. So it's all relative. It hurts, but we'll get it back.
Absolutely. And then last question, man. You kind of got injured out there. Was it the case of the cramps? It looked like I saw them stretching you out there. So just kind of tell us what happened during that play where you got injured.
Yeah, just didn't hydrate as much as I needed to this week. Cramped early in the game, and it kind of affected my mobility for the rest of the game. So, I mean, it's on me, but it's just unfortunate. It is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, again, you got next week, you got Harvard Westlake. I'm sure, you guys will go into practice and get really prepared for another road game. They're going to be a tough opponent, just like Brentwood. So, just do what you need to do. Continue to encourage the boys during the week. And we'll see you on the field next Friday when we play Harvard Westlake.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Appreciate it. All right. Mr. Ryder coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side, talking to Mr. Jack Thomas. All right. There we go. So in his own words, they just didn't play well. And so, I just love his level of maturity and just his ability to relate to his teammates. And so, we talked about, Jack's, just his mindset. The previous, a couple of head coaches ago, he would always say, well, what's the mindset? He would always ask, his players, what's the mindset? And clearly, Jack, he understands the mindset, and I think he's going to help, get his boys ready for Harvard Westlake, put this game up past. And I really like that what he said about, we can play next week. We got players who are injured who can't play at all. So again, just the maturity, and hopefully, like he said, this game does not define who they are. They still have, at this point, 6 more games, including Harvard Westlake, to get ready. So, just your thoughts again about, just anything that he said, or also, what Jake said as well.
No, they're right. I mean, we just got to come back with more energy this week and, practice like we want to win the game this week. And I think they're capable of doing it. We just have to show it. I tell us, I say it all the time, we can't talk about it. We got to be about it. And hopefully they step up to the challenge.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to one of the former coaches from last year, Coach Reed, and I was just like, man, this is going to be a great game. I was like, I kind of done my homework before. I was like, okay, I'm looking at some of the stats. I'm like, oh man, we leading in this category. We're leading in this category. I was like, but the boys still have to play the game, right? So no matter if we average 45 points a game and they're averaging, 27 points, that's on paper statistically, okay, we might win that battle. But, when all is said and done, you got to get on the field. You got to play the game. And the boys have to do what they need to do to, catch passes, make the plays. So, again, to your point, the boys have to step up and hopefully they will be ready. Let's go ahead and transition over into Harvard Westlake. Now, how much do we know about Harvard Westlake? Are they a wing tee? Do they have a spread offense? Just kind of give us a little bit of what we can expect from our next opponent this coming Friday.
So I thought we would never see the wing tee again. And they actually last week ran the wing tee. So the first 3 weeks they ran spread. I think the quarterback got hurt, and they put in their probably the receiver, the best player, and they ran wing tee against Royal. So we'll probably see the wing tee again. We're going to practice for both, but I thought we were away from it. But I guess it is what it is. We'll at least we know what we're doing now against it.
Absolutely. We got it right 3 times. So, the odds are kind of in our favor. We walked away with 3 wins. But again, in this case, the boys still have to play the game. Who knows if their injured player, he might have enough mobility to get up and, do his thing, this week. So, you have to prepare for the spread or for the wing. So I'm sure you're going to be prepared for either one. Now, the only thing I didn't discuss and I wasn't clear on, I know that our JV team, I know they lost as well to Brentwood. Do you know the final score for the JV squad? 'Cause I know they played on Thursday night.
It was 18-14.
Okay. So, again, another close match. And I think you had even mentioned last week that some of their JV guys play on the varsity as well, which is one of the reasons why the game was on a Thursday. But then also for us, one reason why I wasn't at Pali is because we had back to school night. So
Correct.
So we kind of covered ourselves there. So hopefully JV. Now, does Harvard Westlake have a JV squad as well?
No, so I was going to bring that up. So they don't have a JV squad. So the JV will be playing at El Camino Real on Thursday at 5:00.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
we picked them up a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. Okay. So El Camino Real is my former high school.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
over
that's
in Woodland Hills. Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime we get the players scrimmage, I'm like, I feel some kind of way, even though it's been, class of 1980, even though it's been years, I still have a sweet spot for ECR. They've gone through some changes. Hopefully they got their field redone. Because when we were there, were we there was it last year we were there, Coach? No.
We were supposed to be there last year, but we played home because they didn't have a field last year. Yeah. So they got a field now.
So the year before, when we had Coach Haidu, we played there 7-on-7. And
heard about that.
It was just melting. It was just, it was crazy. It was hot.
Was it turf?
Yes, it was turf.
Oh, wow. And it was melting.
I'm sorry, artificial turf, not grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm glad that they redid their field because it was just, I think I might still have some of their old turf on some of the clothes that I wore. But yeah,
I heard it was bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. So okay. So all right. So if you're watching right now, just know that our squad is playing El Camino Real on Thursday. What time is the game, Coach? 4:00?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 5 p.m. out at El Camino Real. And then, of course, our squad, we're traveling over to Harvard Westlake. And that game is at 7 o'clock, correct?
Correct. Friday, yes.
This coming Friday. So just come on out. We're going to look to avenge ourselves. Hopefully the boys are getting prepared mentally and physically because we don't want any more cramps to happen out on the field. We don't need any more scares with Jack. So let me ask you, since we're on that subject, do we have a backup for Jack in case? Is there a contingency plan?
There is a plan. We will put it in tomorrow. It was supposed to be put in last week, okay. But things kind of got out of hand. But yes, there is a plan.
Okay,
cool.
I promise that. All right, that's what's
I won't speak it into existence. But if it happens, you guys will see what the plan is.
That's what's up. That's what's up. No, because 2 games ago, I know we had someone come out the Wildcat, and so that was pretty cool. That was a pretty awesome model. It looked like it was a design play, so that's a good thing. You got more than enough guys who could run the Wildcat, right?
Yep.
So
So there is a package we're gonna implement starting tomorrow. So there will
Absolutely.
be a package for that.
Okay, there we go. And then, Coach, you can just run that package. Just take. I told you, put Jack on as spread him out, and then But anyway, I'll leave the coaching to you. I'll stick on the sidelines and do the commentary. But just know you can do that. You know what I'm saying? That'd be make it kind of fun. All right, Coach. So, I appreciate you hanging out, man. Just hang out in the green room real quick. I'm gonna close up the show, and then we'll come back and close up afterwards. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you again. And we'll see you definitely on Friday night.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, another wonderful show with Coach Smith, man. Just, talking about everything Pali football. We talked about the offense. We talked about the defense. And we touched on the special teams as well. So hopefully the boys realized, what they need to do to get better for this week, come prepared every single day up until game day. And they have to realize that they cannot switch it on, switch it off anytime that they want to during the game on Friday night. But they have to really prepare mentally and physically throughout the whole week. For the past couple of weeks, we had, just 4 weeks of school. And so now they had, last week they had a full week of practice. This week is going to be another full week of practice. And so I'm sure they've realized, what they need to do to get better. And, hopefully they can come on out against Harvard Westlake and do what they need to do, get another win as we move into our bye week, the week after next. So, again, we appreciate Coach Smith hanging out and just chalking it up with us tonight as we, kind of reflect on the Brentwood loss. I think that's it. Just if you're watching, again, parents, please continue to sign up. And, hey, Devron, what's going on, sir? Hopefully that's big Devron Kearney. Thank you for watching, my man. Hard work and dedication. Absolutely. That's what's going to really put us over the hump. You have to practice. You have to bring it to practice. And then hopefully that's going to manifest itself during the game on Friday nights. But on behalf of Coach Smith, we appreciate you watching. Parents, as I was trying to say before, make sure you sign up for our next home game. There are tons of volunteer spots that you can volunteer for. And so, just look for the link on Slack or, the email link or for the Sign Up Genius for you to sign up for those particular spots and duties during our game days when we at the Stadium by the Sea. But this week we travel to Harvard Westlake and we play them. And so just come on out. JV game is on Thursday at 5 o'clock at El Camino Real. And then on Friday night, we play at Harvard Westlake at 7 o'clock. So again, as a close up, on behalf of Coach Smith, I am Mr. Riley or Facebook James. Thanks for watching. And as always, we're coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. As always, go Dolphins. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.